Hey guys!
Hey guys, Leah and Michelle, Resistance Chicks coming at you March 21st, 2017. We've actually done some fairly good kind of reactions to this young lady's things.
Her name is Tomi Lahren, and she's on the Blaze, and she's been kind of a firebrand for, she self-admittedly is a conservative, what she calls a moderate conservative. Now, she went on The View the other day, and I watched this live. Well, not live, but I watched like the whole thing through. And I watched it happen, and before I heard everybody else's reactions, it hit me in the gut. So I just want you to listen to what she has to say here on The View with the nasty women.
A conservative Republican and a constitutional conservative, but you also consider yourself pro-choice, which is interesting to me because 68% of conservative Republicans think that abortion should be illegal across the board.
No, I'm pro-choice. Look at her face, like,
oh really?
Oh, you can be part of us. You can be our group. This is our like little nasty women group.
And here's why. I am a constitutional,
That's something that I wanted to point out. She
said, I am a constitutional.
Now listen, we misspeak all the time. I'm
do.
gonna let it slide, but it is a little funny.
No, I'm not going to let it slide just because it's too funny. When you have to go to the bathroom, it's often referred to as a constitutional. She just said she was a constitutional.
Movement.
Just saying.
someone that loves the Constitution. I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. I can sit here and say that as a Republican, and I can say, you know what, I'm for limited government, so stay out of my guns. And you can stay out of my body as well. So I think it's to go out and speak to women about that.
You need to go out.
I do every day. And I get a lot of attacks from conservative women as well. I think it's equal hate from all sides for me.
You don't have
No, you actually don't get equal hate from all sides because most of your viewers did not know that you were pro-choice, especially after you rant and rave against abortion over and over and over again.
The pro-choicers are supposed to be about rare and safe abortions. That's how they avoid sounding like straight-up baby killers, by acknowledging abortion is not a positive thing and a difficult choice. Then we have Lena freaking Dunham out there wishing she could have murdered a fetus, wishing for the option to kill your child. Doesn't exactly say much about the cause, her character, or the pro-choice movement.
No, I'm pro-choice, and here's why. I am a constitutional, someone that loves the Constitution. I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies.
So here's the thing. She either believes that murdering a fetus is murder, or she doesn't. Because, and this is where a lot of people have drawn the line, and when Milo came out, and Blaze actually came out blazing against Milo, who did not admit to pedophilia, went through this whole thing, right? He came out humbly, and he did his thing, right? Tomi here, she's not even giving an inch or anything. I can't, hang on. Sydney, you need to, okay. Let's see this. Okay, so like our dogs, when we start to film, they get really needy.
They don't do this until we're filming.
Exactly.
Classic. You guys have dogs, you know
So
this.
you just give her her food in October. All right, so this hit me because I don't want to ever attack a fellow person. I don't call myself a conservative. I just don't. I say I lean on the Word of God. At the same time, I would consider myself on her team, right? I say we're on the same team. But I do need every pro-choice libertarian and everybody who watches our show to recognize that the number one issue for feminists and the number one issue for the left, when you watch the Women's March, when you look at the feminazi Women's March header, their number one issue is abortion. They wouldn't allow pro-life feminists to even join that giant march at all, because that's their number one issue. So if you're sitting at a table, and I'm just calling it hags, nasty, nasty women, and they are all patting you on the back, I would ask you to question your belief.
Stance.
And when they are saying you need to talk to more Republican women about this stance, you need to question your stance. Now, I recognize that she's just 24 years old and that she was brought up under the brainwashing, as we were talking about, of the feminazi movement that got into public schools. And so many of us in our age, we're coming out of that brainwashing. We're realizing that it's not this big thing to be to play with the boys and run with the boys, that we actually like the difference between men and women. We like being able to have the choice to stay at home and raise your kids, right? And my prayer, and this is my humble prayer for her, because I'm not judging her, but I need to call her out because she has such a large voice, such a big voice, and she reaches so many people.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I need to undo the lie that she just spread out there.
Yeah.
Okay? Just like if somebody had come out to say that it was okay to just kill your neighbor. Okay? We know that babies have a heartbeat, I believe at 12 weeks. Okay?
Right.
We know that they have fingers and toes and eyes and ears. And what a lot of people came out against her, I mean, it's a big deal. She might not even be renewing her contract with the Blaze. I don't know. It's up in the air. Somebody said that she's on suspension for a week or something like that. Because she calls herself a conservative. And when you call yourself a conservative, not a libertarian, a conservative, most conservatives are pro-life because, here's the thing, we believe that you should have the right to do what you want with your body.
Exactly.
But you don't have the right to do what you want to somebody else's
And
body.
that is when you turn into a socialistic leaning liberal.
And I know that a lot of people say, but what if they don't want to raise a child? Well, you can give your child up to a relative, to the state, to
Right.
adoption.
Right.
Right? But if you don't have the right to murder your infant or your toddler, then you don't have a right to murder the baby. Because a toddler is just as much reliant upon care.
Absolutely.
An infant is just as much reliant upon care as a baby in the womb. And this was a huge thing on Twitter. I mean, there have been written at least 50 articles about this particular issue. And there are, and you are watching us, some of you who are pro-choice, and I'm glad that you watch, and I'm glad that we can have this dialogue. But you have to recognize where we're coming from. If we believe that that baby is just as much of a baby as one born outside the womb, can you not see where we're coming from? That it's like a mom literally putting a knife through that baby's heart, or taking it to the doctor and saying, I don't want this child anymore. At 2 years old, 3 years old, it's too much of a burden. Because you still have to work and pay for and take care of this child. And a lot of people see children as a burden, but you're going to say,
Oh, no, I was actually going to bring it back to farming. Because if you're a farmer, actually, you kind of understand this stuff a little bit better. We raise out chicks. And we do this really fun thing where the rooster, for lots of you won't know this, chicken lays an egg. You can eat the egg. It's unfertilized. Unless the rooster has fertilized the chicken before she lays the egg, it is an unfertilized egg. You can still eat the fertilized egg because it doesn't actually start to grow into a baby chick until the mom sits on it. The heat and the warmth actually creates this,
moisture thing.
Exactly. Starts the chick to develop and everything like that. Well, anyway, so what we do, we have a broody chicken, means she wants to sit on a bunch of eggs. We give her fertilized eggs. And we go out at probably day 10, something like that, and we do what we call candling an egg. We take a flashlight to the egg, and you can see veins, and you can see you can see that there's a mass of a chick in there or not. You can chuck the egg that doesn't, throw it to the pigs, whatever, or there's a life in there. And Leah and I have cried over the fact that we have lost an egg that didn't develop, right? So you go out at day 10 and it's got veins, and so you keep checking it and you keep checking it. Well, at some stage, sometimes they stop developing. Mm-hmm. And you have to wait until all the other chicks hatch out. You wait a few days, it still doesn't hatch out, and you got to go bust open.
We had 2 that were fully formed that just didn't hatch.
Right, and it's heartbreaking because a chicken, this is not even a human, this is a chick, a little baby chick, and we cry. We cry over this, okay?
Right.
It's a
so
life
children
there.
used to be a blessing, and the Peanut Gallery wanted me to let you know that since the Federal Reserve, since we got off the gold standard, what happened with, we don't just have trillions in debt, it became impossible almost for mothers to stay at home and to raise children.
Right.
And so that is the reason behind abortion, is women have to work. And so if they're not ready and they got everything planned together, then a child to them is seen as a burden.
Right.
And so when we get back to the gold standard and we get back to a person's wage is what they're worth, then children will be seen as a blessing once again, and the idea of abortion won't even come into our minds.
Right.
But we have to get away from these economic reasons for children and abortion and killing and murder. We don't murder people for economic reasons.
Ever.
We just don't do that.
And there's a fine line, and it's an unfortunate, I know she calls herself this, I want to get back to Tomi here, she calls herself a conservative, however, she did say kind of libertarian type views. She does have
She's
more.
a constitutional.
She's a
She's going to
constitutionalist,
go sit on the pot in a minute.
unfortunately. But anyway,
She's a little stocked up.
the problem that Leah and
Needs
I
some
have
probiotics.
with the libertarian views, and we do lean very libertarian.
Fiber.
Stop it, I'm serious. Is the fact that you can go too far. All right? So we believe that the government should be out of everything. Everything. But there are certain standards, and here is where Leah and I were talking about this earlier today. Not everybody's going to be a Christian. Not everybody's going to be, we believe under the Judeo-Christian values, but there has to be a standard because everybody's going to have their own religious
What
views
she
and
said
their own
was,
morals.
this is my truth.
Right.
That is total brainwashing of this new era, new world order. My truth.
Exactly. So what we need to understand, whether you're an atheist, whatever religion that you are,
There are
we
absolute-
can't, if you don't have a foundation of what everybody's going to agree upon as what morality is, then you can't make laws and you can't have a sane society. So what happened when our country was founded is we decided as a nation, the religion that we're going to use for our moral standing is the Judeo-Christian law.
And
whether you
even
agree with it or not, that's the standard that we
simpler
have
than
to
that.
go by.
Simpler than that. Nature, the laws of nature, and nature's God, as spelled out by John Locke.
And nature
And-
tells us that we do not kill our own fetuses.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. You never see that in
Right.
nature. If an animal is born stillborn or there's something wrong with it, yes, then we see the mother take
You have the
action.
right
but
to
that's
life,
animal
liberty,
instinct.
and the pursuit of happiness, as John Locke would say, property.
Right.
Because these are inalienable rights given
Right.
to us by nature and nature's God, our
Exactly.
divine creator. That is our basis. That is our framework.
Right.
And then we go from there.
So anyway, my point is that you have to start with those as your basis, and so you can't just go with my truth. What is your truth? No, we set up these values long ago, and guess what? There's nowhere to morph from there. We've got people like Obama that they don't believe in the Constitution at all. There's nowhere to spread because we'd have to develop a whole brand new set of moral standards by which to live. And it's impossible to do that because we've had, centuries of abiding under the regular moral standard that we have under the Judeo-Christian values. So she, by saying this is my truth, I would be a hypocrite, yada yada yada. No. Chuck all that because nobody cares. Okay? People, we vote on laws, we make laws. But as far as moral standards go, we have a foundation already, and she's chucking that in favor of, well, listen, I can't be a hypocrite. And that is what I found so unfortunate
And
with the libertarian
actually,
type
to
views.
switch it around, she didn't even try to meet conservatives and say, listen, I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
She called them hypocrites. She called them hate mongers. She came out swinging and fighting the conservatives.
Well, we didn't show all of that, but
She Twittered it. She tweeted it. And so I'm letting them know.
okay.
I'm telling you.
Right, no, that's great. I'm just saying, just so these people don't feel like, did I miss something?
No, she came out when people hit her on Twitter. She didn't say, "Listen, I understand where you're coming from. Yes, I've come out so pro-life. You all think I'm pro-life." And as actually Matt Walsh wrote a blog. They work with the
course.
same company, and he said, "I want to." He actually reached out to her and said, "Can I come on your show?" And I wanted to talk about this with you. Because he gave a magnanimous view too. He said she either is trying to be an opportunist and coming out on The View in hopes of maybe getting hired by Fox or something to get a bigger name for herself.
That sounds very
If she's
plausible.
smart, I mean, I don't know if she's that conniving to try to do that, but she might be. because obviously they set this up. I really think that they knew what was coming and what was happening, and go ahead and leave your comments. I know we have a lot of pro-choice people who watch us, and I appreciate your views. We're not actually my concern with this was that she portrayed herself as something that she is not.
Right.
And a lot of people got behind her, and when I was looking through Twitter, 9 times out of 10, people said, ow, I didn't know that she came out fighting against the puppet hat wearing women and pro-choice, and she really hit it. So her dialogue was, I'm pro-life.
Right.
And so was she using conservatives as a platform? So Matt Walsh was saying, did she change her mind, or were these her views always and she was using people? And that's the question. If she was always this way, we kind of would have already known that. I don't think she would have had the same audience that she would have had, because Blaze is conservative, pro-life, 100% all the way.
Right.
And I believe the Blaze has the right to do that. They are a conservative-leaning website.
Right.
And that's just who they are, and that's okay. And a lot of people do go to where they know that their views will be validated. And that's what they do when they go to the View, that's what they do when they go to the View, and when they go to the Blaze. So it was one of these things where, and one of you, Shy, had sent me this particular article, which I liked the best, because they were saying it kind of smells possibly of opportunism. And while there are conservatives who are pro-choice, many libertarians espouse this view, but a lot of people think that it's not necessarily logical or compelling on the conservative libertarian side. Abortion has always been a moral issue.
Right.
And Lauren's statement is not only a complete misrepresentation of the Constitution, because when Hillary Clinton came out with death in her eyes and says, no, a fetus did not have constitutional rights, there's not a thing on this earth that I believe that I could ever agree with anything that Hillary Clinton said. And anybody that believes in liberty, there's not anything really that you can agree with Hillary Clinton.
Right.
Not on this deep of an issue. This is such a divisive issue. It's like the issue.
Right.
And I would love to try to convince my pro-choice people why. I know a lot of people say, I don't want federal funding for abortion. I'll meet you there. There are so many families who want to adopt. You guys, I know some of them who cry out to me. Why does it have to cost? It costs like $40,000 sometimes to adopt a kid. We need adoption reforms to make it really easy. You know, if you're not in a financial position to care for a child, a lot of people say, well, why should you make a woman carry the child and then grow up poor or this or that or that? I have to let you know, there is an innumerable amount of middle class people who want babies right now.
Yes.
Today.
Yes.
Why are we paying for in vitro?
Exactly.
When there are people who literally would rather adopt than do in vitro, but adoption is such a crazy process. We need to make adoption super easy. All right? Instead of killing the baby, we need to put them with happy, healthy families. So they are out there.
Right.
They are out there.
And we can easily vet happy, healthy families without all of these regulations and the money that they're putting, the price tag that we're putting on this.
Exactly.
So I think a lot of people would ask, well, you're going to throw the kid to like a family where they're going to get molested or something like that? No, It's not that hard to figure out when, you know what I mean, that sort of thing.
Okay, so signing off.
Signing off for Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy theory. If it's a truth, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring the bell for notifications and find us on Facebook and Twitter. I would not be surprised if we did not see Tomi Lahren on a Fox or an MSNBC or something like that moving forward, because I think that really that was her ultimate goal with this.
Yeah.
Had to be planned.
I was cold all alone, no place for home, every day so afraid, but you called my name.